Imagine for a moment that you had a clock in front of you, a clock that doesn't just tell the time but tells you the story of your life. Every tick marks a second, every second a moment you could never get back. Now what if I told you that most people go through life never noticing the clock, never paying attention to the seconds slipping through their fingers, never realizing that the only moment they truly have is the one they're living right now? Most people think happiness is something that comes later. I'll be happy when I get this job. I'll be happy when I have this house. I'll be happy when I retire. But let me ask you, if you're waiting for some future moment to be happy, what are you doing with the precious seconds, the fleeting minutes, the hours of today? You are missing life itself. Life is happening while you're busy making plans to enjoy it in the future. And that, my friend, is a tragedy. Because here's the truth, the secret to a fulfilling life. The secret to a life full of joy doesn't lie in some distant dream or elusive goal. It lies in learning to enjoy every minute of the life you are living right now. You may think that sounds simple, almost too simple, almost like a cliché. But simplicity is the genius of it. Happiness isn't complicated. It's not hidden behind walls of money, status, or achievements. Happiness is a skill, a habit, a choice. And like any skill, it can be learned, it can be practiced, it can be mastered. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Earl, I have bills to pay. I have problems. I have responsibilities. How can I be happy now? And I want to tell you something that is so important that it could change your life if you hear it and truly understand it. Happiness is not the absence of problems. Happiness is the ability to be content and fulfilled despite problems. It is the ability to look at your life, with all its challenges, its ups and downs, its victories and failures, and find something in every moment to appreciate. Think about the last time you laughed, really laughed, not just smiled, but felt that burst of joy that came from deep inside. What were you doing? Were you waiting for something grand to happen? Or were you simply noticing something beautiful, funny, or interesting in that exact moment? That, my friend, is where happiness lives. People often underestimate the power of small moments. They think, I need big achievements to be happy. And yes, accomplishments feel good. Achievements give you a sense of purpose, a sense of pride, a sense that your life is moving forward. But if you only tie your happiness to accomplishments, you are setting yourself up for a life of constant chasing and chronic disappointment. Because life doesn't hand out achievements every day. Life hands you moments. And it's in those moments, the ordinary ones, the ones you might overlook, that joy can be found. Learning to notice them is an art. And like any art, it requires attention, practice, and intention. So how do you learn to enjoy every minute of your life? How do you train yourself to find happiness now rather than waiting for it to arrive in some imagined future? First, you must understand the incredible power of your thoughts. Your mind is a garden, and your thoughts are the seeds. You can plant seeds of worry, fear, and regret, or you can plant seeds of gratitude, curiosity, and joy. If you plant the first, you will reap a harvest of stress and unhappiness. If you plant the second, you will reap a life that is rich, vibrant, and full of delight. This doesn't mean you ignore reality. This doesn't mean you pretend problems don't exist. It means you consciously choose where to place your attention. Where your attention goes, energy flows. Where your energy flows, your life follows. Take a moment and think about the people you know who are genuinely happy. Notice the way they live. They aren't necessarily the richest, the most famous, or the most powerful. They are people who have learned to appreciate what they have. People who notice the beauty of a morning, the laughter of a friend, the warmth of a simple meal, the freedom of a deep breath. They don't wait for life to hand them reasons to be happy. They create their own reasons every single day. And the beautiful thing is, you can do exactly the same. Now, let's talk about curiosity. Curiosity is one of the most powerful keys to happiness. When you approach life with curiosity, you are no longer trapped by boredom or dissatisfaction. Every situation becomes an opportunity to learn. Every encounter becomes a chance to grow. When you are curious, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. The mundane becomes fascinating. You can watch a sunset and see it not just as a sun dipping below the horizon, but as a miracle of light and color, a daily gift that no one else in the history of the world has seen exactly the same way. You can talk to a stranger and hear a story that will change your perspective if only you are willing to listen. Curiosity opens doors, and behind those doors you often find joy. Another key is gratitude. Gratitude is not a nice idea, it is a powerful tool. When you make a habit of noticing the good in your life, no matter how small, you are programming your mind to focus on abundance rather than lack. You start to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You start to notice beauty where you once noticed nothing at all. It is said that people who keep a daily gratitude journal are measurably happier than those who do not. But you don't need a journal to feel gratitude. You only need to take a moment wherever you are to recognize one thing you are thankful for, one thing that is good, one thing that brings light into your day, and then another and another. This simple practice trains your mind to find joy in the present moment. But let's be honest, sometimes life is hard. Sometimes problems weigh heavily and the minutes feel long and painful. I am not suggesting that you ignore difficulties or pretend they don't exist. Life is full of challenges, and each of us will face setbacks, disappointments, and losses. The key is how you respond to them. You can either let them steal your present, or you can choose to live in spite of them. This is the essence of true happiness. True happiness is not the absence of pain, it is the mastery of your response to pain. It is the realization that even in the darkest moments, there is still something to notice, still something to appreciate, still something to be curious about. Imagine for a moment a person walking through a forest. The forest is dense, the path is rocky, and sometimes the sun doesn't shine through. Yet this person walks with eyes wide open, noticing the sound of birds, the patterns of leaves, the scent of earth after rain. Every step is taken with awareness, every breath is taken with attention, and slowly the journey that could have been a struggle becomes a source of wonder. Life is your forest. The moments you have are the path. Happiness is your awareness of the journey, not your impatience to reach the destination. It's also important to remember that life is not a race. We are conditioned to believe that speed, productivity, and constant achievement are the keys to success and fulfillment. But happiness cannot be rushed. Joy cannot be manufactured in a hurry. It requires presence, attention, and patience. You must allow yourself to slow down, to breathe, to feel, to notice. It is in these pauses that life truly unfolds. The world is full of people moving too fast to see the magic around them, and then wondering why they feel empty. Don't be one of them. Learn to savor the small moments because they are the ones that make up the whole of your life. And let us not forget the power of kindness and connection. One of the most immediate and profound ways to experience happiness is to give it to others. Smile at a stranger. Help a friend. Listen without judgment. Offer encouragement. The act of giving, the act of connecting with another human being, creates a ripple effect of joy that comes back to you in ways you cannot imagine. The human heart is wired for connection, and when you engage with it, when you nurture it, when you participate in the shared experience of life, you find a source of happiness that is independent of material circumstances. As you continue to live your life, think about how often you are present in each moment. How often do you truly listen, truly look, truly engage? How often do you allow yourself to be amazed by the ordinary, to laugh at the small absurdities, to feel gratitude for things you usually take for granted? Every minute you spend fully awake and aware is a minute of life fully lived. Every minute you spend waiting, wishing, or regretting is a minute lost. The choice is yours. You can allow life to pass you by, or you can step into it with curiosity, gratitude, and attention and experience the richness that is always available in this very moment. Learning to enjoy every minute of your life is not about denying reality. It is not about pretending problems do not exist. It is about mastering your perception, about training your mind to notice, appreciate, and engage with the present moment. It is about making a conscious decision to find joy where you are, not where you wish you were. It is about understanding that happiness is a result of how you think, what you notice, and the way you choose to respond to life. It is a practice, a habit, a mindset, and it is entirely within your control. Consider for a moment the power of now. The now is all you ever have. The past is gone, the future is not yet here, but the now, the present moment, is real. It is alive, it is yours, and yet most people squander it. They spend their now worrying about the past or fearing the future. They lose sight of the beauty and opportunity that is right in front of them. To enjoy every minute of life is to reclaim the now, to treat it as sacred, to notice its gifts, and to participate fully in its unfolding. And finally, remember that learning to enjoy every minute of your life is a journey, not a destination. There will be days when it comes easily, and days when it feels impossible. There will be moments of doubt, moments of pain, moments when the weight of life feels too heavy. But each time you notice a small joy, Each time you allow yourself to appreciate a simple gift, each time you pause to breathe and be aware, you are training yourself, moment by moment, to live a life of happiness and fulfillment. The practice compounds, the habit grows, and over time you will discover that happiness is not something you chase, it is something you cultivate, it is something you become. Now, let us consider the role of imagination in enjoying every minute of life. Imagination is often dismissed as mere fantasy, a pastime for dreamers. But imagination, when coupled with awareness, is one of the most powerful tools you have for creating happiness. You see, your mind has the extraordinary ability to take any ordinary moment and turn it into something extraordinary. A simple walk in the park can become an adventure if you notice the play of sunlight through the leaves, the rhythm of your footsteps, the scent of the earth after rain. A routine conversation with a colleague can become a lesson in human behavior, an insight into personality, or a spark of inspiration. Imagination allows you to see layers beneath the surface, to discover richness in what might otherwise pass unnoticed. And here's something most people never realize. Happiness is often a choice between noticing or ignoring. The world is full of the same sights, sounds, and experiences for all of us, but some people see wonder while others see monotony. Some people find magic while others see routine. The difference is not in the external world. It is in the internal world, the way your mind chooses to interpret, to focus, to pay attention. You can learn to train your attention moment by moment so that you see not just the facts of life, but the beauty, the patterns, the lessons, the humor, and the opportunities. And when you do this consistently, happiness becomes not a goal, but a natural byproduct of your awareness. Let's talk about effort. You might think, if happiness is just noticing and appreciating, why do I have to work at it? And the truth is, yes, there is effort involved, not in the sense of struggling or straining, but in the sense of deliberate practice, just like learning a musical instrument, just like developing skill in a sport, just like mastering a craft. Learning to enjoy every moment requires attention and repetition. At first, your mind may resist. It may want to dwell on the negative, the stressful, the disappointing. That's natural. But with conscious practice, you can redirect your attention. You can choose gratitude over complaint. You can choose curiosity over boredom. You can choose engagement over distraction. Every choice strengthens the habit. Every choice trains your mind to live fully in the now. Now, let's explore a powerful principle that most people overlook. Life expands in proportion to your attention. Wherever you place your attention, life grows. If you are constantly focused on what is wrong, life will feel smaller, heavier, and more difficult. But if you focus on what is good, life becomes bigger, brighter, and more fulfilling. This is why the happiest people often seem to live in abundance, even when their circumstances are modest. Their secret is simple. They have trained themselves to notice, to appreciate, to immerse themselves in the richness of the moment. And this is something you can do too. Consider your morning routine. How often do you rush through the first hour of your day without noticing a single detail? How often do you grab your coffee, check your messages, and move on without ever experiencing the aroma, the warmth, the taste? Imagine if you approached each morning with full awareness. Imagine sipping your coffee, feeling the warmth of the cup in your hands, tasting each note, noticing the light as it enters your kitchen, listening to the subtle sounds around you. Suddenly, something ordinary becomes extraordinary. This is a small example, but it illustrates a much larger truth. Every moment holds the potential for joy. All you must do is notice it. And what about challenges? What about the days when life seems harsh, when events do not go your way, when setbacks occur? Remember this. Happiness does not depend on circumstances. It depends on perspective. Two people can experience the same situation, yet one feels despair while the other feels growth, opportunity, and learning. The difference is the lens through which they see the world. You can choose your lens. You can choose to see difficulties as obstacles, or as stepping stones, as lessons, as invitations to grow. And when you do, you discover that happiness is not just possible in the difficult moments. It is essential. Without it, hardship becomes crushing. With it, hardship becomes manageable, even inspiring. There is also a profound connection between your physical body and your happiness. Movement, exercise, and even posture influence your state of mind. A brisk walk, a few stretches, a deep breath, these are not just physical actions, they are gateways to joy. When you move, your body sends signals to your brain that life is good, that energy is flowing, that you are capable. And when your mind believes this, your perception of the world shifts. Suddenly, the mundane becomes vibrant, the ordinary becomes a playground for discovery, and every minute holds more potential than you ever imagined. Now let's consider relationships. Nothing in life influences happiness more than the quality of the connections you cultivate. People are social beings. We thrive on communication, understanding, and love. But quality, not quantity, matters most. One genuine conversation, one sincere smile, one heartfelt acknowledgement can transform your day. And when you approach your relationships with attention, curiosity, and gratitude, you don't just give joy, you receive it in abundance. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to practice presence, to notice the small gestures, to appreciate the richness of human experience. The more you invest in meaningful connections, the more every minute of life becomes a source of happiness. Now, let us return to the concept of curiosity, because it is perhaps the most overlooked secret to a fulfilling life. Curiosity keeps the mind awake, alert, and engaged. It turns repetition into discovery, work into adventure, and challenge into excitement. When you approach life with a sense of wonder, every experience, no matter how ordinary, becomes fascinating. Even mistakes become lessons. Even setbacks become experiments. Even failure becomes a teacher. Curiosity transforms the way you experience time. It expands your awareness, and in doing so, it allows you to savor each minute with delight. And what about mindfulness, the art of being fully present? This is not just a modern trend or a passing fad. It is a timeless principle that underlies all great human achievement and happiness. Mindfulness is the practice of observing life as it unfolds, moment by moment, without judgment or distraction. It is the ability to immerse yourself fully in whatever you are doing, whether it is washing dishes, listening to music, or walking down the street. It is the recognition that life is happening now, and now is all there is. When you practice mindfulness, you begin to notice the subtleties, the textures, the nuances of existence. And in those nuances, you find beauty, joy, and fulfillment that are otherwise invisible. So what is the bottom line? The bottom line is that every minute of your life holds extraordinary potential. Happiness is not a distant goal. It is a state of awareness, a practice, a choice, and a habit. It is cultivated through attention, curiosity, gratitude, connection, movement, mindfulness, and imagination. It is reinforced by your response to challenges, your perspective on setbacks, and your willingness to notice the beauty in ordinary moments. And the remarkable truth is that the more you practice this, the more naturally it becomes a part of your being, until living happily in each minute is not an effort. It is simply who you are.